one thing that's really concerning when you're going through a course of treatment is the dreaded flare-up. So today what I'd like to talk about is what a flare-up is, how flare-ups happen, and why you shouldn't be too afraid if a flare-up does happen. So what is a flare-up? So it's really important. We've got a diagram here that we'll actually use as a bit of a guide as to how this all operates. But basically, having to know what a flare-up is, you need to know how your body actually works. So as you can see here on this diagram, we've got a tissue tolerance, which is basically what your muscles and joints do and what they can do to their maximum. And what happens is that pain comes on before the tissue tolerance is actually reached. So it gives you a bit of a warning to say, hey, look, we could be getting to the point where tissue damage will happen, but if you just back off a little bit, we'll give you a bit of pain, back off a little bit, and we'll protect you so that your tissue tolerance isn't reached and an injury happens. Now, as you can see here, when we get to stage 2, it's after the injury. So this is where people have had an injury many, many moons ago, but there's still a lot of pain. You can see that the tissue tolerance is now a bit lower than what it was at the start because the muscles and joints really haven't had a chance to heal themselves. Well, they've healed themselves, but they're still a little bit sensitive. And as a result, what happens is that there's a protect by pain line that's well below the tissue tolerance, all right? So what you can actually do and what your protect by pain protection system allows you to do, there's a big discrepancy between the two. So you can do something, but it hurts to do it. And as you can see here, the flare-up is actually between those two, all right? So obviously the wider it is between what you can do and what your brain thinks you can do, there's a bigger range for where a flare-up can actually happen. So when a flare-up happens, it's very, very rare that there's any fresh tissue damage, a fresh injury, but it's just that it's past where that protect by pain line is. So basically when you do have a flare-up, what it is basically that protect by pain line is far too low for where the activity needs to be at, and the tissue tolerance still isn't quite where it needs to be. So what a flare-up is, as you are starting to improve, you've just pushed it just a little bit too much and your brain has given you a bit of a warning shot to say, look, maybe we shouldn't be doing this as much as we think that you should be. But the reality is, because your tissue tolerance is quite high, you can do it, it just hurts. So the way that we need to train this and make this better is to continually challenge that protect by pain line and generally challenge that tissue tolerance so that it builds a more realistic and more functional baseline so they're able to do more things. So that's what a flare-up is. Of course, what do you do when a flare-up happens? How can we settle things down when a flare-up happens? Now, this is going to be different for everybody because everybody has a different makeup. Everyone has different joints, muscles, different ways that their brain interprets signals. But some things that can help, ice, heat, a bit of sort of gentle pain relief, maybe a bit of gentle movement, are really good places to start. Another thing that can really help is actually knowing all about how pain works, because sometimes it's not so much the flare-up which is the biggest issue, but the anxiety and the fear that comes as a result of getting the flare-up. So often what happens when someone is feeling quite good, they're going through a course of treatment, things are going quite well, and they have that migraine, they have that pang of back pain or that pang of neck pain, and they're like, oh my goodness, I'm back to square one. It feels exactly the same as it did before. I'm not getting better. All of these things are just going downhill. But the reality is that it's not. It's just a warning sign, it's just a shot, okay? And the more that you're able to rationally think, right, what was it that I did? How far have I come since beginning treatment? And talk yourself through this rationally, it will calm yourself down, which can actually decrease the pain just by doing that as well. So knowing how pain operates is actually really empowering when you do get a flare-up. Of course, the third thing you can do when you do get a flare-up is actually talk to your health professional, talk to your doctor, talk to your physiotherapist so they can explain to you exactly what's happened in layman's terms and put your mind at ease, maybe do some gentle movement with you, some gentle treatment with you to get you back on track. I hope that's been helpful. Flare-ups are a really nasty thing. They can wipe you out and make you feel desperate, but when you understand how pain works and realise that this is just part of the course when you're recovering from a chronic pain condition, No, it's not comfortable, we understand that, but the less flare-ups and the more control that you have over your pain condition, the quicker things can move forward in the end. I hope that's been helpful, and we'll see you again next time. Cheers and bye for now.